Good morning, I'm Chris with Orange County Farm Supply. Welcome back to another edition of Chris's Corner. And today we're going to talk about transplanting some blueberries and putting some new soil, because the soil on each of these 20-gallon containers is down about a foot. And what happens with organic matter, orchid bark, acid planting mix, they're wood-based, they break down, they shrink after a few years. So we just need to lift these guys up. And while we're at it, I'm going to do a little pruning. It's always good to cut off the lower branches. So let's get to it. So I'm imagining these plants are probably a good 4 or 5 years old. I'm going to remove all lower branches here. Now Alice wants me to make sure that I keep that strawberry alive. It's a volunteer strawberry that's in here. So what's good to do is make sure these root balls are dry for about a week before you lift them out. And all I'm going to do is tilt it. And what you can do also, you can see the top or crown of these roots are now exposed because the soil is so eroded and broke down over the years. So what I'm going to do is just tilt this thing. I like to push it in a little bit on the sides. And I'm going to give it a little push from the bottom. And the root ball will come out pretty easy. So my new mix, I like using an acid mix, some orchid bark, and very important to use pumice. But you don't need a lot of pumice, maybe about 10% total. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take both of these main ingredients, the acid mix, put in a few scoops here, and I'll stop. Maybe 1 scoop of orchid bark. You don't need very much orchid bark because that's the culprit that breaks down. Then a little bit of pumice. And right there I'll stop. And I'll mix it up so it looks like that. And basically I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'm going to try to raise this thing up probably about 12 inches. And I'll just keep adding these components. Okay, so it's about as full as I want to get it because I need to put the root ball in, but on top of that I also need to put some more of the same mix to cover those roots that are kind of exposed where the crown is. After I do that, then I'm going to top it with just plain orchid bark, a good thick layer of that. Now, blueberries like a pH range 5, 5.5. They really like that. So orchid bark is very acidic, so is acid planting mix. And what the pumice does, that's for aeration and drainage, because if I use nothing but an acid mix with bark, eventually it's going to get all wet and boggy and anaerobic, and you could lose your plant that way. So the pumice is there for drainage, for aeration. So now I'm ready to put the strawberry combination blueberry in here. And because the root ball is so dry, just about fits perfectly. In fact, it's going to end up settling because that's a loose mix I just put in there. Okay, so there's some more mix. I need to top dress it. I need to kind of get that crown. And there's going to be a little bit of gap along the sides. Just kind of pour it in like that. And you could use a weeding tool or a screwdriver and kind of poke it down the sides. Pack it around that root ball like that. Okay, now I've got all the sides packed in with that pumice mixture, 10%, no more. You don't need that much. I've got the acid mix, I've got the orchid bark all blended in there. Now I'm just going to take the rest of my orchid bark, or a good portion of it, and just pour it on the top. So it's going to help the roots stay moist. It's going to provide acidity, should block weeds. It's a little bit mounded, but that's okay because the water is going to penetrate through this root ball. And there's the strawberry. It won't even skip a beat. Blueberries are very easy to transplant. I've done lots of them. They rarely go into shock, but in about a month, you'll see a big difference. This one's already got flowers and fruit setting on it, but in a month or so, this is going to look a lot better. It's going to grow out a bit. I'm probably going to wait about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month before we fertilize it. Again, just a reminder, February 7th will be Fruit and Berry Saturday at 10 a.m. The 21st of February, 10 a.m., avocados. But just a reminder, come on in. Look at all these blueberries we got already. Behind me, we've got grapes. We've got deciduous fruit trees, peaches, plums, pluots, nectarplums, things like that. And thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please come on by, because we would love to help you with your gardening questions. Come in and see our shows and give us questions then. We would love to help you. Thank you for watching. Let's grow together. Again, I'm Chris at Chris's Corner.